magical friends, welcome back to my channel. Today's video we are talking Noble collection items, but I'm not going to say I'm being mean about these items. I don't think I'm being mean. I just think I'm being maybe particular about the kind of items that I add to my collection. I'm not one of these collectors that just buys everything willy-nilly just because it's Harry Potter. I'm quite particular and I do choose pieces that I really love, that I think have been done really well. And yeah, so if you're intrigued to see what I'm going to be talking about today, then do carry on watching. Don't forget guys, if you are new and you haven't done already, then please hit the subscribe button to become part of my little magical community and turn on the notification bells as well to be notified every time I put a video. And you can always go and check me out on my social media. Big shout out as well to my patrons. You guys are amazing. If you are interested in joining us on Patreon, the link will be in the description down below. You can go and check it out. Okay, so basically these items that I'm going to be talking about today are items that you can buy from Noble Collection that for me personally, I'm not in any kind of hurry to go out and purchase myself. These items are just not to my taste for different reasons, various of reasons why I don't particularly fancy them for my own collection. If you have them in yours, don't take this as me criticizing your collection or the item itself that much. It's still a really cool item. But yeah, for some reasons, they're just not particularly my taste, and I don't think they've been done maybe with the full justice that they deserve. But like I said, this is meant with no bashing whatsoever. I don't want to come across that I'm being horrible to anyone's collection. If you have these items in your collection and you love them, that is amazing. Please don't take it as I'm bashing your collection. It's just different people have different tastes, different opinions, and I'm just kind of voicing mine a little bit in this video. Now, the first item that I'm going to be talking about today is the Tri-Wizard Cup from, of course, the Noble Collection. This particular item is £108. Now, that is quite a lot of money, and the item itself isn't a bad looking piece. It's a beautiful piece. The one thing that irks me with this particular item is the base. The base to me just makes it look a little bit cheap. I don't know why. I just feel like if they removed that base, it would be perfect, absolutely glorious. But that base really does put me off the item. I don't know why they felt the need to add that. There is another replica like this available that they actually sell in the Warner Brothers Studio Tour. I'm of course talking about this particular one here. Now, I absolutely adore this replica. It's plastic, obviously it's quite cheap. I mean, it cost me £13, I think it was. So it is a cheap replica, but it does light up at the bottom. So obviously the base does like glow. So it makes it really cool, the fact that it glows. And I think just to have on my shelves, it looks absolutely beautiful. And it doesn't have that weird base that the Noble Collection version does. And I don't know why Noble Collection added that black base, because it does nothing for the design. It didn't have that in the movie. Yeah, I just think it makes it just look a little bit cheaper. I don't know why they did that. The next item I'm going to be talking about is Dumbledore's Cup. Now, again, this is a beautiful replica. But this, again, is quite expensive. This is £90 for this item. And again, it's absolutely stunning. I love the look of this item. But it's plastic. It's plastic. Like, you're paying £90 for a really pretty piece of plastic. If it was metal, I'd 100% buy it and pay that price. No questions asked. No quibbling. Just take my money. But the fact that it's plastic really puts me off. Again, it kind of just makes it feel a little bit cheap. I haven't seen it in the flesh. I've not held it or had a proper good look at it. So maybe I'd change my mind if I did actually see it in a physical form. But the fact that I know that it's plastic really does put me off buying this particular item, knowing that it is plastic. And it probably didn't cost even a fraction of that to make. So the next item I'm going to be talking about is, of course, the Prophecy Orb. Again, it's stunning. It looks just like the one from the movie. But again, it's got that base. What is that base about? I don't get it. Again, for me, this might be a case where it's for sturdiness, because I can imagine that crystal ball is quite fragile, and obviously you don't want it to topple over and fall and break because you'd be devastated. This item, I think, is £51 from Noble Collection. But again, that base, it just puts me right off the item. Now, I know of 2 subscription boxes that have attempted to replicate this design in their own sort of form. So one of them is really true to the movies, and the other one is kind of an interpretation of the one from the movies. I love both, and they've both been done really well. The first one I'm going to show you is the one from Geek Gear. Now, this is very fragile and difficult to hold, so I'm going to be very careful with it. But yeah, this is the one from Geek Gear. The ball does come away from the stand. The stand is very true to the movies. It's absolutely beautiful. And then the crystal ball sits really sweetly on top. Now, this is a fragile item, and obviously it's a much, much smaller scale. It's really, really ducky and cute. But yeah, I mean, if Geek Gear can do this kind of item justice, then why can't Noble Collection when they're charging a lot for these items? I just think having this on my shelf looks a lot nicer than the big black base that they have on the other one. It just doesn't appeal to me. Another one that was done really, really well, this came from a Lit Joy Crate box. I think this was in the year 5, but yeah, it would have been in the year 5 box, so I didn't get the year 5 box. So I had to buy this separately. This one is more of an interpretation rather than an exact movie replica. So the base on this one is this really lovely ornate base. It's really, really sweet. It's quite sturdy, the base. And then the crystal ball itself is here. Now inside, you can just about see it through my ring light. It says inside, etched into the glass, is neither can live while the other survives. It's really, really gorgeous. And again, it just sits really nicely on the stand like that. But you haven't got a big black base. I don't like the black bases. I think Noble Collection need to just think to themselves, can we deal without the black bases? I think they would make a lot more sales. I certainly would be the first in line to buy this piece if the base was taken away. Okay, so the next piece I'm going to be talking about is the Felix Felicis pendant. Now, this idea is a really, really sweet idea. I love the thought of this idea. But again, the display piece that comes over the top of it, that dome, is absolutely stunning. Really, really beautiful. And they couldn't have done a better job on that. But again, for me, this kind of just looks a little bit on the cheap side. It's not particularly cheap. This is £39, which isn't expensive, but it isn't particularly cheap either. And I just feel like, for me, the scale of this is just off a little bit. They could have made this really, really beautiful by making it really dainty and really sweet. So it kind of just sits nicely sort of here. I just personally think this one is just too chunky and just too plasticky looking for me personally to go out and purchase. And obviously the colour for me is off as well. Just not a big fan of it. Now, Geek Gear did a potion replica of this particular item, obviously the Felix Felicis bottle. And I did use the stand from Lit Joy Crate box. They did their own version of the Felix Felicis, but I did prefer Geek Gear's bottle. But I loved the stand from the Lit Joy Crate box. So I actually put my Geek Gear bottle onto the stand that Lit Joy Crate gave us. So this is the Felix Felicis bottle. As you can see, it's quite dainty and ornate. It's got the right shape for the Felix Felicis bottle. It's got this really nice little thing at the front as well, just saying liquid luck. It is quite delicate, so I don't want to play with this thing too much, especially when I'm holding it up high. So I'll pop it down for a minute. But I do think that if they made that even half the size and really, really pretty and gold and glittery, I think that would be a stunning, stunning piece. Similarly to the Felix Felicis bottle, we have the Amortentia potion bottle pendant. Again, same as the Felix Felicis one for me, it's just too chunky. It needed to be so much more dainty and small. I think you see it in Fred and George's shop. Hermione's holding one of the bottles and it's quite little in her hand. So imagine yourself, that must be quite a dainty little bottle that she had. And that would have been perfect as a necklace, just like a little tiny pendant. It doesn't need to be this huge chunky thing. So again, for me, the dome is beautiful. The idea is really, really beautiful. It's just the execution for me just isn't fully there to be able to go, here's my money, take it, I want your items. So the next item I'm going to be talking about is the Divination Crystal Ball. Now this is gorgeous. It looks just like the movie version. But again, the base, what is with these black bases, these chunky, horrible black bases? I just don't get the point in them because it just takes away from the authenticity of the actual object. For me, having a replica that I'm going to really fork out a lot of money for, I want it to look like I've just gone to the studio tour and just pinched one of the items and just taken it home with me. I would never ever do that. I don't recommend you do that either. Don't do that, it's naughty. But that's kind of the thing I'm going for. I want my shelves and my collection to look like I've taken things from the movies and just popped them into my collection. This chunky base doesn't say movie replica to me. It says cheap imitation. This item isn't particularly cheap. I mean, it's £51. So again, it's not crazy expensive for what it is, but take that base away and I'll buy it. Not a problem. I love it. It's absolutely beautiful. But that base just puts me right off. So yeah, that was my mini rant for today. I hope I didn't go too overboard. These items are really beautiful items that I really would love to have in my collection. There's just a couple of things for me that just look at them and just think, oh, if only that wasn't there, or if only they just tweaked it a little bit, I would totally be buying these items. But for now, for me, looking at these items, I'm not in a rush to add them to my collection. I'm really, really not. And it makes me kind of sad because there are a few things that I think I would really enjoy to have in my collection. It's just, it really does put me off when you have things like chunky black bases and it just takes away from the authenticity of the actual items for me. But if you do have these items in your collection and you really, really love them, then do pop a comment down below. Let me know what you love about them, because like I said, this is not meant to be a bashing video. I'm not saying that they're not worth buying. They are really worth buying. They're beautiful items. It's just for me personally, just one or two things just slightly put me off actually going ahead and making that purchase. But if you do love these items, then let me know. I'd love to have a conversation with you about it. I'd love to know how you display them and your thoughts and opinions, I suppose. So like I said, pop me a comment down below and we'll have a little natter. Once again, guys, if you did enjoy this video, please give it a magical thumbs up for me so that I know. Don't forget as well, if you are new and haven't done already, then please hit the subscribe button to become part of my little magical community, and to the notification bells on as well to be notified every time I upload a video, and I will see you very soon in the next one. Bye, you guys.